You ever wonder what makes one business just fizzle out while another one is still kicking 100 years later? Forget all the Silicon Valley noise for a minute. We're going to go back in time, way back, to find out what makes a business truly last.
All right, let's just get right into it. If you've ever thought, hey, I'm going to start my own thing, this is the question, isn't it? The one that keeps you staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. And that fear of failure, well, it's totally justified, and you're about to see why.
Yeah, the numbers are not great. A whopping 2/3 of new businesses are gone within a decade. That's a tough pill to swallow. But here's a thought. What if the key to beating those odds isn't some brand new cutting-edge strategy, but a really, really old one?
And that brings us to this really cool idea called the Lindy effect. It's actually super simple. The longer something's been around, the more likely it is to keep being around. Think about it. It's like a natural filter for what works. Survival is the ultimate proof. So we're going to stop chasing fads, and instead we're going to peek over the shoulder of businesses that are already 100 years old and just, copy their homework.
Okay, first up, timeless goods. We're talking about businesses that sell stuff people will always need, no matter what.
So check this out, Moscot Eyewear. You've probably seen their stuff, but this iconic brand didn't start with some fancy Soho launch party. Nope, it started on a pushcart on the streets of New York more than 100 years ago.
And the reason they've lasted so long, it's ridiculously simple. People are always going to need to see. That's it. Whether it's for vision or just looking cool in a pair of shades, it's a basic, unchanging human need. You just can't argue with it. And get this, even today, with all the online shopping in the world, almost 90% of the eyewear market, which is a massive $215 billion market, by the way, is still happening in physical stores. Why? Because people want to try stuff on. Muscat understood that from day one, and they've been catering to that simple fact forever.
So what's the modern playbook here? Well, first, you've got to realize that glasses aren't just for seeing anymore. They're a fashion statement. That means you need to build in a cool factor so you can charge a premium. And the quickest way to do that, you guessed it, get your distribution game on point and team up with a celebrity or an influencer who can make your brand instantly desirable.
All right, next up, let's talk about food. Meet William Pull. It's this awesome European deli that's been crushing it from this tiny little storefront on the Upper East Side since 1921. A whole century.
And their strategy is just brilliant. They have a tiny shop, so their rent is low. But here's the genius part. More than 60% of their sales come from their own branded products. White-labeled stuff like dips and crackers that have huge profit margins. And on top of that, they have a killer online store too.
So you want to break into the specialty food game today? Here's the modern way to do it. Forget about making your own product. That's the hard part. Instead, find an amazing product that already exists and just become the master of distribution. Find out who the local buyer is for your grocery stores and go pitch them. That's your way in.
Okay, our last example for timeless goods is an absolute legend, C.O. Bigelow. This place has been in business since, wait for it, 1838. It's the oldest apothecary in America. Just let that sink in.
So how in the world does a little shop like this survive when you've got behemoths like CVS on every corner? Well, this quote right here nails it. In a world where you can get anything delivered to your door in an hour, what's going to make you actually walk into a store? It's the impulse buys, the stuff you didn't even know you wanted.
And that gives us the modern playbook for curation. Look, you have to stock the boring stuff, the NyQuil, the bandages. That's what gets people through the door. But where you make your money, that's all the cool, unique, curated stuff up front that people grab on a whim. Your whole goal is to become that awesome go-to local corner store. All right, let's switch gears. Now we're going to talk about businesses that build the actual world around us. Let's call them enduring spaces. Okay, check out John Gallen & Son. This is not just a company, it's a full-on dynasty. We're talking a 7th-generation construction company, founded way back in 1886. These guys have literally helped build New York City. I mean, New York's main business is real estate, and they're right in the middle of it all. And the size of this industry, it's just hard to wrap your head around. The construction market in the U.S. is over $2.1 trillion a year. That's trillion with a T. This isn't some small niche market. This is a fundamental part of our entire economy.
So how do you get in on that? Well, the smartest move isn't to start from zero.
The real pro move is to buy an existing construction business from an owner who's ready to retire. Boom. You get their crew, their clients, their reputation, all in one shot. Then you niche down, become the absolute best at building, say, headquarters for tech startups. And finally, develop a signature style so people know your work when they see it.
Okay, let's pivot to hospitality. Back in the day, if you wanted in, you'd build a big hotel. But today, that's a huge, risky bet. The modern, smarter approach is to think way, way smaller. Start with just one really cool Airbnb. Get obsessed with creating magic moments for your guests, the kind of things that get you 5-star reviews. Master that, then you can think about scaling up. All right, for our last category, we're moving away from physical things and into something you can't touch, but is just as valuable: creating unforgettable experiences. So you could try to build a bar that lasts for 200 years, like the Ear Inn, which is incredible. But the modern way to do this is all about low risk and high hype. I'm talking about the pop-up bar. Forget a 20-year lease. You create a super cool temporary theme, you partner with a bar that's already there to cut your costs, and then you use social media to create insane buzz. It's all about FOMO, the fear of missing out.
And all of this really boils down to one central idea, the most important point of all. So many people are obsessed with what's changing. But the real secret? Focus on what never changes. Figure out the basic human needs that are going to be just as true in 100 years as they were 100 years ago.
So let's put it all together. Here's your Lindy playbook. 1. Solve a problem that isn't going away. 2. Use curation to make your stuff feel special and premium. 3. Remember that distribution is everything. It's your biggest advantage. 4. Don't go all in right away. Start small and test your idea. And 5. Don't be afraid to buy a business that's already running to get a massive head start. So in the end, this isn't about jumping on the next big tech trend. It's about something much more fundamental. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What timeless human need are you going to serve?